This week on the Mindful Men podcast. First, what is a gay hate crime? Define that for us and then lead into the event that had such a big impact on your life.
Sure. So a hate crime is if someone picks you out, points you out, targets you based on religion, gender, sexual orientation. If that is the reason why they've done what they've done, then that is what is considered a hate crime. I battled for the longest time. I was like, I feel like every crime is a hate crime. Like you didn't steal that woman's purse because you loved her. You know what I mean? So I battled with that for a long time. And I still kind of do sometimes, but then I start to see that when we're able to attach the hate crime titles, that again is bringing that awareness, and so sometimes we have to have those labels. So that helped me accept labeling, I guess. So what led to it is there is a bar that my friends and I would go every Thursday. It was our Cheers, if anybody ever watched that show where everyone knows our name, it's predominantly straight. My group of friends were also diverse, but for the most part, it's a predominantly straight place. Now, it is in one of the higher end income bracket ends in Knoxville. And so that kind of plays a factor on the class of people that will be there. And I truly mean all of that respectfully, but just trying to paint that picture, right?
Hmm.
So I was going through a breakup. I was with a guy for 2 years and we were going to build a house. And then we had a long conversation and realized that I'm not sure that we're in love with each other. So it was best that we broke up. And I get depressed after a breakup. I don't do well with those. I need a couple of days to listen to sad country music and cry. And I'm really good at doing that sometimes. But it was a friend's birthday and she called and she's like, hey, I know you're going through a hard time, but it's my birthday. We're going to go to Bull Feathers, which is the bar that we would frequent, sing some songs because it's karaoke and have a couple drinks. Like, get yourself dressed up, come out, come celebrate with us. I was like, all right, it's time that I do that. So I go, and here's where I'm going to throw the trigger warning. I will be very tactful at the way that I say things, but this is where it's going to get a little. So I walk in, everything's great and normal. See all the regulars, high fiving and cheersing people as we're walking through. And we go to our table, we get up, we sing songs, and then I get up to go to the restroom, and this is all caught on surveillance. Okay. So I get up to go to the restroom, and this guy stops me and he starts talking to me. We're assuming about my necktie. So I'm saying assuming because there is surveillance, but you can't hear it. It's a loud karaoke bar, but I kept doing this. I kept pointing at my tie, and then I pulled out a business card, which has all my information on it because it was a new venture, a new business venture I'd just started. And so it looked like a pleasant conversation. I go to the restroom by myself, come out right past him, don't even look at him. I sit down with my friends. We have like one more song to sing and we finish our cocktails and we pay our tab, and three of us left together. Well, within 2 to 3 minutes, surveillance camera shows that he left. Now, I don't remember any of this from the brain damage. So a lot of it is what was shown on surveillance and by witnesses, as well as the testimonies in court. So allow a little grace with that. But my friends say that they saw me because I got to park really close to the facility and they were parked kind of back from it. So by the time that I got in my car, they see me drive off as they were getting into their car. So from there, and again, this is just what we've been able to piece together. Okay. So surveillance shows that he walks out. There's no outside cameras. So they don't know if he got in a car. They don't know if he got in my car, which really wouldn't make any sense because my friends say they saw me drive off, but he had the business card that had my information on it. So he shows up to my apartment, knocks on my door, and he is trained military and uses hands as a weapon and had me knocked unconscious in first hit, is what he says. So from there, he moves my body, drags my body from room to room, brutally abusing it and sexually assaulting me. He sexually assaults me with his body as well as with foreign objects that he was finding throughout the house. It continues to beat me to the point that he gets my cell phone and calls his baby mama and confesses to murder, that he just killed a gay guy. So she's telling him to turn himself in, and he's saying no. And so he steals my car, my money, and my credit cards because I was a server, always had cash on me. But where we have a hard time piecing pieces together is you're stealing my car, but you got to my house. So did you get dropped off? Because you
Mm.
obviously don't have a car there. Why would you steal my car? So that's where it came into, did I give you a ride? Did I think did I have enough alcohol in me and felt safe enough to think I was giving you a ride to your car and it was all a trick? Like, we don't know, right? So he goes to another bar, and starts drinking and on my tab. And while he's there, he is bragging about the F slur that he just killed. They don't call the cops, they kick him out. And he gets back into my car. At this time, he's drunk, and he gets back in my car that he has stolen and drives off, and he wrecks it. Well, when he wrecks it, the police come to the scene. He's covered in blood, but it's not his blood. The wreck wasn't bad enough to damage his body. So he confessed to murder, and
Wow.
they found me, luckily still alive, but it took them 18 hours. So I went 18 hours with lack of oxygen and having seizures and barely hanging on.
Wow. That is, I'm going to say it's fucked up. Yeah. First of all, thank you for sharing. Like, I know that these types of stories can be really difficult to relive. And as you said, like, you're piecing parts of it together because of your memory. Talk us through the memory loss. Like, where does your memory stop? Where does it kick back in?
Sure. So I battled a long time because I felt like I remember getting to the bar, but then I don't know if it's pieces of me remembering other times I had walked into the bar. I don't really know when my memory started as far as that night. I will say that the brain trauma was so bad that when I was in the hospital and they contacted my family to come, when my family came in, granted, my eyes were very swollen. I couldn't even open my eyes, but I could see silhouettes. And I thought my mom and grandmother, I thought they were nurses. I didn't even recognize their voices. It took me a minute. There is forgive the trauma, Dot, but there is a horrible car accident that my family and I were in. It was my grandmother, my great grandmother, my great aunt, and my little brother and I, and we were hit by a drunk driver, and it killed everybody but me and my little brother. And I was 11 at that time. And so when I woke up, and then when they told me that, no, I'm your mom, I thought I was back at the car accident. I thought I was 11-year-old boy back at the car accident. I kept asking, where's Brandon, my brother? Because I was afraid, something had happened to him.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah. My memory did start coming back pretty quickly, just as in remembering people. One of the things that actually really helped me, because I was bedridden for a while. So I would scroll through Facebook and I would see pictures and read comments and start piecing things together of, oh, I knew that is. But it took about a good week
Yeah.
for me to really feel comfortable with my memory. I cannot say for sure if I remember anything about that night. I have memories of it, but I don't know if it was just implanted there just by the stories I heard and then watching the surveillance tapes. If that is one of those things where it's like, well, I'm supposed to remember this, so I'm just going to make myself think that I do to make me feel better. But I
Yeah.
truly don't know any.
And so waking up in the hospital, like, talk us through that. Did people have to tell you what happened? I'm assuming so, because you wouldn't have had the memory. And talk us through that initial recovery and coming to realizing what actually happened.
At the hospital, we thought, and my family even thought, that I had just been mugged and that I was robbed. We didn't know all of it, right? And then obviously I was asleep a lot of the time, but my mom said that the door opened and it was the sexual assault therapy center with a nurse to do a rape test on me, which is collecting evidence. And my mom was like, wait, what? And so I don't remember that at all. What I do remember that was very traumatizing is the nurse didn't seal the door all the way into the room. And so when one of my friends showed up, they came in the room as I'm going through this rape test, which is very violating. And then you have someone else come in. And so it's just like, it just kept reoccurring. But it wasn't even registering to me that I was getting a rape test.
Mm.
It was about the third day that I had got home from the hospital, and I had to move back in with my family, obviously, during that time. And a detective showed up and was talking to us. We didn't realize my car had been stolen and wrecked and that it was impounded somewhere because I lived by myself. Everyone just thought my car was at home. There was just so many little things that took days for us to
Mm.
even know. And then that's when he said, David, you were a victim of a hate crime. Like,
Mm.
you were sought out and raped.